Welcome to this is going to be number 4, I guess. This is the 4th entry in my series that is showcasing the novels or concepts that would have taken place within the 9-book series that I would have written, or video game trilogy that I would have created if I had enough time, and I don't. And that's due to health complications and whatnot. So this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to get this out there so people can see what my children, my creations were like, what the world's like, etc. So this one is Gothic Razor. That's the name of the book, and I'm going to introduce you to her, and you're going to get some surprises along the way. Gothic Razor she has a real name. It's Ephemera. She's a Moo. And yes, that's actually a race that exists in mythology. You can go look them up. All 3 of these characters are pretty much simply heroics. They don't really have any professions aside from the next one that you'll see, but she doesn't really consider herself that anymore, and we'll get to that. Her equipment is a Buzzblade, which is kind of a sword, kind of a chainsaw. I know everybody's going to immediately draw a comparison to the chain sword from 40K, but that's not this. This is a lot different. If you played Minecraft Dungeons, it's kind of like the mechanized saw blade, but a lot sleeker in design. It's a lot more sleeker, a lot more pointy, as it were. She wears leather armor. Her abilities, she has Mystic Sight, and I'll get into that in the background section. She has speckled white hair, tan leather armor, a sword that acts a lot like a chainsaw. Her costume is a mixed homage to Wolverine and Chainsaw Man. That's a comic book character and a manga character. Her usual allies are Gunshy and Rova Maltese, both of which I'm going to go over. And her quote, and people will get the homage reference here: "This is my shred stick. Top of the line, all the way from its sheath straight up your ash." And yeah, it's a direct plug to a certain movie. And if you know it, you know it. If you don't, go watch Army of Darkness. Let's get into her background. Ephemera is trained with an assortment of heavy sword wielders and more than one lumberjack to become a truly unique hero, albeit a violent one. She's a Moo and has the ability to not only see magic, but see the hue of what might be hidden from others. This means she can see whether or not it is divine, arcane, or even necrotic in nature. Those are just some examples. Her book is meant to be given to Gunshy, who was originally going to be the title character, but I went a different route. But as the plot developed, it seemed like Gothic was the star of the tale. Gothic Razor is meant to be about 3 heroics against an army of mechanics birthed within the dimension known as the Void. And again, Gothic is more of the leader type, and her main arc is just to be more of the big sister role. And she's a lot older than she seems. All my characters are a lot older than they seem. You're not getting any origin stories. You're getting them at their core. And Moo lived... They're pretty much immortal, and she's seen a lot. She's forgotten more than she remembers. Let's put it that way. And you do find out a lot about her and how she knows a lot about what's going on. And she's not one of those that hides things like Gandalf. She's actually upfront about it and tries to come up with solutions with her friends on the fly. She's definitely got a lot of leaderships, and she's upfront about her leadership, but she's not in your face about it. She does try to actually work with people and showcase how you can get things done. However, most of her solutions are pretty violent. She's kind of an homage to Wolverine without having any internal weaponry. All right, let's get into her allies, her support cast, and the first is Gunshy, who was originally going to be the title character of this. And Gunshy, a.k.a. Ren, who's a blight elf, kind of like Akira Gazao, but Akira Gazao, who's gotten past the blight, as you'll see, Ren hasn't. Her equipments are buzz discs and a buzz whip, both of which, yeah, you'll note, and actually Gunshy developed these weapons. He developed the the Buzzblade that Gothic uses as well. Uh, Description: unlike a Garigazal, Rin is still afflicted with the blight that plagues her people. As such, her pale skin is constantly peeling. It is also possible to see her veins across her exposed skin. She wears blue-scaled armor and fires saw-like discs from wrist-wounded mechanisms. She also has a whip that actually has some buzzsaw-like capabilities. And that's up to an artist if somebody chooses to come up with any designs or inspirations on that. Her usual allies are Gothic Razor and Rova Maltese. Her quote: "I saw fate claim the lives of my friends. Never again." Background: Rin is one of my oldest characters and the survivor, I misspelled that, of a massacre on an alternate version of Earth dubbed The Broken Home. Several of her friends were lost on the world, leaving her numb. She became a gunslinger, but developed another type of weapon. Her story arc is one of a search wherein she has discovered her friends may have lived through their final days on the broken home. Her mentor, Dwana, was the first she found to be alive. Gothic decides to help at the beginning of the novel after seeing Rin save her own friend, a llama, wait for it, named Gertrude. And yes, Gertrude does pop in from time to time during this because Gertrude has an affinity and kind of likes Gothic Razor. So, yeah. And lastly, we have Rova Maltese. Rova is a character I struggled with a lot. I had a name and I didn't know where to go with her until I was conceptualizing the plot for Gothic Razor, and boom, everything just meshed together because she's a lot like, she's got some similarities to them, but she's her own thing. And all three of these characters are pretty violent in nature, so having them together in a novel kind of made me go, yeah, these three, okay, yeah. Real name, Rova. She's a Talipo, and we'll get to that in a minute. Her equipment, they're called phase slashers, and yeah, kind of like lightsabers, but they look a little bit more like they're from the Matrix. In other words, they're digitized. Her armor is a mess of plates hiding digitized blades at her wrists, elbows, and feet. The costume is speckled rust and yellow in color. Under the armor is a Talipo with a long tail she uses to hang from above unsuspecting foes. Her usual allies are Gothic Razor and Gunshy. Her quote is, "A man once ate my tail for dinner. He had one heck of an upset stomach." Yeah. You can see where this is going. Kudos on you. Background: this is the Talipo from the urban legend and children's story Talipo. She did indeed put an end to the hunter that ate her tail, but only after discovering the man had trapped and eaten children from a nearby town. Rova has regenerated her tail and has one that is quite long for her race. She usually wraps it around her torso and disguises it with a piece of cloth. In other words, you don't really know that. At the beginning of the story, it's my intention that you don't know what she is, but it slowly becomes apparent there's something under the armor that's not entirely human. Again, most of my characters are A, not male, B, not human. Her story is an arc. Her story arc is married with the core plot wherein she must find the leader of the Mechanized and put them down. It will come to light that the Mechanized ended her former homeworld before coming to Mourn. She has a pet named Dust, which is a creature that is one part shark and one part pigeon. And yeah, if you know me, I hate pigeons in video games. They're no end in trouble. So I actually had to put one in here. And what better way to do it than make it a pigeon shark? And believe it or not, when she's pressed on it, she goes, "Oh, it's a pigeon shark." And they're like, "What?" Trust me, you don't want to know. That's it. Those are my three characters for Gothic Razor. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the near future. See you soon.